Posted by you/babypander. I stopped just in time. As a teenager I used to have a lot of freedom. I did not often abuse that freedom, so my single mom trusted me a good bit. I was very extroverted as a teen and I would stay out late visiting all my friends and drive home about 11 to 12 p.m. Every night I would enter my neighborhood and drive to my house along the same route. There was the right turn from the busy road, pass a residential street on my right, approach a stop sign for the dark cross street and proceed to pass 3 more streets of houses on my right until I arrived at my house on the left side of that street and drove my Honda Civic to the back of the driveway near the garage. Oddly enough, I can still feel the manual transmission in my right hand. Every single night I would run straight through the stop sign at the dark cross street. Every single night. I would never ever stop because there was never ever another car there. One night however I drove up to the stop sign and stopped. I don't know why I stopped, but I stopped at the intersection abruptly. Screeching tires and all. To my complete shock, right at that very moment I could have been in the intersection, a car without its lights on. It sped, like pedal to the floor fast, through the intersection at the very second I would have entered it. They were speeding so fast through the darkness that I couldn't even describe the car to my mom. They were speeding fast enough that I absolutely and positively would have been minced meat from a direct driver side impact. From that day forward I always came to a full stop at that stop sign. It made me wonder about what invisible personalities live among us and how, if they even truly exist, they manage to successfully intervene when they decide to. I just have no other way to explain how this could have happened. I have another story like this in Paris where I should have been bird-feed after nearly being hit by a speeding bus coming from behind me. Both of these experiences stay with me. I want to understand them but I don't. I can't. I have others like them. Posted by you/black_rose_221. People who don't exist saved my life. This happened in Tirupati, India, religious site, when I was 3 years old. I have slight recollection of what happened, but my parents and relatives always tell this story any chance they get, so I know it's real. I'm going to tell this story from 2 people's perspective. First mine and the second my father's. Back in 07 my family and my uncle's family went to Tirupati, and for those who don't know, it's one of the most crowded places anywhere and it's super easy to get lost. What I remember this as if it was yesterday. After going through the temple we went to a souvenir shop because I was crying for a toy. In the shop I saw this toy of a robot, looked exactly 100% like RDJ's Iron Man, except Iron Man would release 1 year later. I was holding my father's hand and as soon as I saw the toy I let go to grab it. But when I turned back around he wasn't there. I shouted "Papa, Papa," but it was so crowded and so noisy I doubt he heard me. I put the toy back and went outside the shop, ran shouting "Papa, Papa" all the time. I stopped for a while and then a man dressed in white kurta pajama and had a red tilak on his forehead came up to me, bent down and said, "Beta Papa gum ho gay hein," which translates to "Have you lost your father?" I nodded, so he told me to follow him. Now me being a naive child I followed him not knowing what will happen. He took me to this police checkpost where after some talking with the cops they asked me for my father's phone number. Now note that I did not know what the fuck a phone number was, so I couldn't tell them, but the white man talked with them some more and after about 10 minutes my father came to the post in tears and hugged me tightly. We then went and bought some cold drinks for the cops, but when we went back to where the post was supposed to be there was nothing. Just people walking to and from the temple. What my father tells at the shop, when I let go of his hand he thought I was just looking at some toy, so he didn't do anything. After a while when I didn't come back to him he got worried and started shouting my name, and when I didn't answer he got seriously worried. He started shouting louder and louder until the shopkeeper threw him out because he was too loud. The whole family was searching for me except my mother, who couldn't stop crying. She's very emotional. One time she started crying when my brother was gone 45 minutes. He was shitting, Eventually, after about 15 minutes or so, he got a call and it was the cops. He came to the checkpost and hugged me. After that, he thanked each and every police officer and went to get them cold drinks with me. But when we returned, there was no police post. This baffled him. He says he told me how proud he was of me for being brave and going to the police and giving them his phone number. When I told him about the man dressed in white took me, he was surprised and told me there was no man in white. I also told him I didn't know what a phone number was, and that shocked him even more. That was 2007, and the last time the family got together and the story was discussed was 2019, and to this day no one knows what happened to the police or the toy or the man in white. Side note: the man in white was with me as long as I was in the checkpost and even after my father came. When we were leaving and I turned back, he even waved at me and I waved back. Also the toy, when I described to my parents, we went back to the shop and it wasn't there. A year later, when Iron Man came out and we went to watch it, I told my father that the toy in Therapy was like that but without the eyes. I'm going to be honest guys, I don't know if it was God saving my sorry ass or what, but I'm so thankful to the man dressed in white. Posted by u/SammyYa0909. A darker than pitch black being went through me, true account. This is one of my most extremely baffling and strange experiences. I'll never forget it. In 2000 I moved to a small town on Central Valley after I graduated high school in San Francisco. I decided to ask my uncle David I can stay with him cause I would be alone in my dad's house that's 7 miles away. He said he'll get back to me about it. When he did get back to me, he said, "Yeah, that's fine." So I put all my clothes, CDs and other necessities in a big bag and moved in. His house was the last home on a street way out in cow and cotton fields in countryside Merced, California. When I walked in through the back garage door, as I arrived there, I saw him doing his Native American beadwork at a table adjacent to the kitchen. He said I can have his daughter's room down the long hallway and to the right, or the spare room before the hallway to the right. I chose the room down the hallway. After I put my stuff in this room, I felt something off, and the presence of that house was nothing I could compare it to. It wasn't really an uncomfortable feeling, but close to that. I had to tell Uncle Dave, so I went over to his table and asked to sit down and tell him what I felt. I knew he was a more open-minded guy anyway, even as he was a Navy veteran. LOL, open-minded for a soldier of 20 YRS. I said, "Do you have a minute, Uncle Dave?" He replied, "Sure, what's up?" I said, "When I put my backpack down in the room, I felt that the atmosphere in your home ice really felt different. It caught me off guard." He replied, "You know, over the years I have had experiences, if you will, in this home. Things that have happened that I cannot explain. I notice them but it doesn't bother me. But they happen." A few months later, I was coming home from my classes at college and it was about 9 p.m. There was no one else home when I came home. Only the oven light was on. Every other light was off. I walked down the long hallway. Note, there is a bathroom outside my bedroom about a few feet away. So what I didn't say is, my Uncle Dave's house is next to acres of cow fields. No other house in sight in that direction for 7 miles. Now I have a string that is tied to the ceiling fan, shorter string, so I have to pull that down, to turn on the lights. So I walk into my pitch black room feeling around in front of me for the long string to pull down so the lights will turn on. Then suddenly, I saw something that was darker than the pitch blackness in my room, about 6.5 to 7 feet tall, toward me. I couldn't understand what I was seeing. All I thought was, how is that possible? It's darker than the pitch blackness. Before I could physically react and get out the room, it moves faster and it felt like it moved through me. At this time I couldn't see at all out of my left eye. I was being pushed out of my room by this darker than pitch black thing. When I could finally see out both of my eyes again, I was shocked to see that I was outside my room where the door is to the bathroom. So I was pushed from where the ceiling fan to the bathroom out in the hallway. I was pushed altogether 15 feet. All I could say was, what the hell was that? My mind couldn't wrap around what happened at that time. I've had other experiences in Uncle Dave's home that I can tell you if you would like. Let me know on the comments. Questions are very much welcomed. Best, Sammy Ya.